It is Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM, and looking at the state budget handed down yesterday by Treasurer Rob Lucas, there's a few interesting omissions, I guess, from the budget. One of them is any real major action on housing construction and changes to incentives for that. A lot of these have been previously announced by federal initiatives and other state initiatives anyway, but joining me on the line to talk about this issue in general is Rivergum Homes Chief Executive Ryan Lee, who's on the line right now. Ryan, welcome to Country Viewpoint.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the show. Tell us about Rivergum Homes, first of all. Whereabouts you're based and how's business at the moment?
Yeah, look, unsurprisingly, business is really well, but as you can imagine, a stimulus that the federal government has provided the market has created its own challenge as well in labour availability and supply. But we're certainly sitting in a position where we've got a good pipeline of work in front of us and working our way through those challenges as any good business does. But in terms of a background, Rivergum's been in the South Australian marketplace for close to 28 years now. Started off as a transportable company focused in the country and coastal areas, and we've certainly evolved significantly over the last sort of 28 years to be far more diversified. We do a lot of work in the inner city, inner ring, and we've got a number of ranges now that span across first home buyer through to the middle market, and also, of course, our coast and country range that delivers services an area up north to Port Pirie and down the south to Talon Bend, including KI as well. So we cover off quite a significant network, and with our 180 odd house designs, we certainly have a number of product offerings to provide the market.
Excellent and important in these times, as you know, back to your roots, I guess, to a point, because so many people looking to make tree changes at the moment. I know you've gone into the inner city market of more recent times, but going back to your original roots, Rivergum, very well known in regional areas, as you said, particularly down in our service area, Talon Bend way. But even further south, people would know your work and probably be maybe even living in one of your homes.
Yes, hopefully.
and
hopefully enjoying it.
And hopefully they will be in the future too, because we know the shortage of homes we've got at the moment. But in this particular state budget, there was nothing, I guess, overwhelming in terms of support for your industry. But as I mentioned off the top, there had been a number of things already announced, I guess, which were incentives to try and help the industry. I guess of most interest would be the issue around apprenticeships and trying to get more tradies into the system, because there's so much demand at the moment that I imagine for a business like yourself it'd be difficult to keep up with that demand with maybe a tradie shortage and lack of skilled labour.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly one of the big challenges for us at the moment is labour shortages right across South Australia. And really, it's one of those things that most of the trades are located close to Adelaide, and for them to travel to work, they've got to have a reason to do so. And obviously that is stimulus in the regional centres. That's driving growth in those areas that we need to see happening to get them to start making that move. At the moment, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, whatever way you want to look at it, the federal stimulus has resulted in a great outcome for home builders. And there's a lot of activity generated in the regions surrounding the capital cities, which is unfortunately playing a bit of havoc for the regional areas in available trades and having supply and capacity to actually get building works underway.
There is certainly a hunger for new home builds rather than existing or established homes, I guess you could say. We're seeing it in the urban sprawl here in Adelaide, north and south, and even, as believe it or not, even to the east. There's all kinds of things happening out that way as well, which obviously makes it, I guess, trickier to get regional homes built. You mentioned but before, part of your business in the past has been transportables off down into the country areas. Are you doing much of that work at the moment?
Look, we're not doing as much as we used to, and that's probably not a reflection of a business focus. More our customer base has really started leaning towards building on site, and in order to build on site, they've got a better degree of choice of design and layout and facades. And it's just kind of how our business has transitioned over recent years. Probably the last decade has seen a strong swing. We're still building in the regional locations. There's a good portion of our builds are focused in that part of South Australia. It's just less so in the transportable sense.
Ryan, if I gave you the state's checkbook and said, okay, you're now going to be the treasurer for a day, and in that one day you can write a cheque for any one program or one wish list item that you need for the housing industry, what would it be, and how much would it cost us?
Yeah, it's a bloody difficult question to answer. I like the putting on the spot there too. But look, really for me, I think one of the key initiatives that needs to be focused on for the government is affordable housing. It's an area that hasn't been focused on in a long time. There's a desperate need for it. I think they need to find a way to unlock those affordable houses in locations that people want to live. And I'm not just talking about inner city Adelaide. I'm talking about the key regional hubs that have economic activity that we just haven't had the government focus on to the extent that I would like to see for us to really provide housing to, the part of the market that isn't really being serviced at this stage, or not to the extent that I think it could.
I guess from a state government's point of view, and this is where we'll leave it today, probably from a holistic point of view, it's really a state government setting the groundwork for there being, I guess, a good economic platform for people to get into the housing market. That's what state governments really should be doing. And by and large, I think it's fair to say this state budget probably doesn't do that all that badly.
Yeah, look, as you said, there's not a lot of new information coming out with the state budget, but they have done a lot of work in recent months, certainly since COVID, in making sure that they're placing the state in a good position on top of what the federal government is doing. I'm unsurprised that there's nothing in there that is groundbreaking because, as I said, they've done a lot of work previous to the current budget and are already rolling out programs.
Yeah, no doubt about that. In the future, I'd love to catch up with you and talk planning issues. I know that all three layers of government have a role to play in making life a little bit easier for housing developments and for people who are building the houses of the future, for people not just in metropolitan areas but in country areas as well. We'll save that for another day. For now, I've already given you enough questions without notice, so we'll leave it there. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for your time.